Good evening, everybody. Myself, Acharya Vishvendra. I'm just discussing a concept of the mind-brain algorithms today. So, as I discussed in my previous video, if we analyze yourself, just be at present, take a deep breath, and just observe yourself that what is happening within you. So, you will feel that you have a physical body, you have the brain, and you have something which we call as the mind, or something we call as the metaphysical dimension, which is capable to manipulate things, which is observing the information received by the brain, and which is capable to manipulate it if it is needed. So if we conclude everything going on inside us, we can say that we are in a algorithm of the mind brain system, in which mind and the brain are interacting in a certain way, and the consciousness is getting access to the higher dimensions or to the better dimensions of life through the use of that mind brain algorithm. So that simply explains that what is happening within us. So just ask yourself what you were doing 15 minutes before, or what you were doing 1 hour before. So certainly you will be able to recollect that I was doing this. So where is this memory stored, and how you are accessing that information? Now just ask yourself what you were doing 2 hours before, or 2 days before, or 2 years before, or 2 months before. So your mind has started collecting information from somewhere. So it's all happening within you, within the boundaries of the mind-brain algorithms, within the boundaries of the mind-brain system. So that explain how mind-brain algorithm works. But here is the game. By default, mind-brain algorithms operates at low frequency. Low frequency means we just want to survive and reproduce. That is fundamental task behind every species. So the automatic mind algorithm is optimized for survival and reproduction. So that's why it's very easy to boast big things in front of others, but when it comes to implement, we just do those things which are necessary for survival and reproduction at any cost. We can talk big, but when it comes to implement things, when it comes to apply, then a very few people have the guts to face the consequences, have the guts to to deal with the challenges, the emotional challenges, basically, when you try to implement something new. So that is how things work. So by default, the mind brain algorithms operates at low frequency. It is surely more comfortable, focused, but it needs to be changed if we want to adapt, if we want to think beyond survival and reproduction. We need to change the frequencies of the mind brain algorithms, because if the frequencies are not changed, then you cannot achieve anything good in life, anything beyond the survival. Take the example of a student. So suppose you work on 50 pages in a day. Just ask yourself how many pages you are able to retain. So when you will think in this way, you will have to face the reactions of the brain. It will try to it will activate the flight mode. You will try to run away from this question. You will try to run away from to some unknown dimensions of life. You will run away in the depth within you. You will try to escape bearing the brunt of this question, but you cannot bypass the truth. You cannot manipulate the truth. In the universe, one thing is true, that if you are on the side of truth, truth pervades in life. You can talk big, you can lie, but you cannot implement lie, because when in the very moment you try to implement something which is false, which is not true, then you will find excuse to explain the inability to get adapted to do something. That's why lying, truth and false may be spoken, you see, but they cannot be implemented. You can implement which is true. For example, suppose you are a brave person. I assume in true you are a brave person. So if you are a brave person, you don't need to speak on it. When situations will come and how you respond to that, so you will be judged on the basis of what you do, not what you say. So people are judged on the basis of, and we are actually what we do, not what we say. because doing is a different thing, saying is a different thing. And what more I have observed in life, most of the things that we speak about ourselves is false. More than 99.99% are making up things. It's just to survive yourself, to be in the survival mode. That's why there are so many conflicts, because if something is true, it's true for everybody. It's not dependent on the observer. But the thing is that what we consider as true is not entirely true, entirely free belief system based thing. We receive information through the five senses, and then the brain mind system makes a mental map of that thing. So it is the mental map that we have access to. We don't have access to the true information. It's because of the structure of the mind brain system that your eyes can see waves only in a range of, let's say, 4,000 to 7,000 angstrom approximately. But there exist things even having frequencies lower than 4,000 and upper than more than 7,000 angstrom. So whatever we consider as true, whatever we consider that the information that we receive through the five senses, so they may not be the complete, you can say that the complete spectrum of what exists. Truth is, it's infinite. Truth is, it dominates life. Because in life, if something is happening, then it's because of the truth. Because false things doesn't happen. So the thing over here is that truth dominates always. The things which are happening, which are working, they have to be based on true. You cannot have fake things or the false things to work. They will not work. So that simply explains the significance of truth. Life is only about knowing the truth, rather than being trapped in illusions of the mind-brain system or the matrix of the mind-brain system. So let's come to this point that we need to change the algorithms if we want to be productive, we want to put our life to a certain higher stages. Then first thing is we need to change the frequencies of the mind-brain system. And frequencies should be high frequencies and low comfort zone, because that is symbol of achievement. You can't achieve anything free of cost. You have to pay for that. And the payment is the uncomfortable feelings, the negative vibes, the anxiety, the depression that you have to bear if you want to raise your consciousness or to improve the mind-brain algorithms. That's a very simple thing. So that is how things are explained. Now here is the concept that there is a process. I have developed a mechanism of changing the low frequency mind-brain algorithms to the high frequency mind-brain algorithms, and I have named it as OST, which is optimal success trajectory, which is also the name of my company which I started in Kota, to induce certain mental mind training programs to the students for being effective human resource and improve their productivity, improve their memory power, improve their concentration power, improve their problem solving skills, analytical skills, in a nutshell, to being more better version of themselves in some terms of productivity and skills, which is the fundamental requirement of today's dynamic world. As you can see, most of the students are not employable these days because they don't have skills compatible with the requirements of the market. So who is gonna work on that? It's very easy to make excuses, but what is to be done? How to make students skilled? The question is this: what is the algorithm? What is the mechanism by virtue of which students will can be transformed to a better person? They can be transformed to a better human resource, which can ultimately leads to the development of the nation. So these are the central questions, that what should be done. Everybody has excuses. The unemployment rate is at its peak, but the question is that how to make them employable? Who will pay them? The question is this. Because there is a very simple thing, that if you want to get 1 rupee from somebody, then you have to give them also. You have to give them something. business or any job service, you don't get free of cost. Everything is based on give and take mechanism. So if you want that somebody give you some certain money, then in return what will you give? You need to give something, some skills, or in a way some product which is of use to them. This is how life works, explained very simply. So when I contemplated this question, I came to know that there are mental skills which are basis of everything that you achieve. You may prepare for UPSC, you may prepare for CAT, you may prepare for NDA, you may prepare for JEE, main, advanced, NEET. You may prepare for being a scientist at NASA. You may prepare for developing a new software. You may prepare for developing a new operating system. You may prepare for anything, but the central requirement is of a well-developed mind-brain system having certain mental skills, which is a core requirement in any field. So I took a chance, or you can say that a step, to develop some mechanism by virtue of we can train the young minds for being a better version of themselves. So you can search OST by Acharya Vishvendra. I have compiled a book with the same name. It's available on Amazon, Flipkart and Notion Press. Secondly, you can also search my YouTube video on the OST program. So it's a 21 days mind training program. You will have to undergo 90-minute training before sleeping, which makes you enable to learn the techniques of how to integrate your mind and brain, and basically the coordination between brain and the three parts of the mind, which is conscious, subconscious and the unconscious. So you need to know the frequencies at which these systems coordinates. Actually, the thing is that what if you are a skilled person, if you are successful in life, that means you have learned to develop your mind brain algorithms. You have learned how to use mind and brain as a system, and as and when needed. So the central concept is this. For example, take the case of students who qualify JEE or NEET. So every student who gave the exam have got mind and brain and the interaction mechanism between them. But only those students are able to qualify the exam whose mind brain algorithms are better than others. They are able to use, or they are able to retain information which they learned 1 year or 2 year back when needed, you see. So that is the central point. It's about retaining information from the mind brain system which you have accomplished within a year of, let's say, 2 years. So that explains the complexity of the process. And as per JEE NEET are concerned, there are about 6,000 A4 size pages, and out of which exam is from the 25 to 30 pages. So if you calculate the percentage, it's about 1 by 200. That is, out of 200 pages that you learned, only 1 page is important, and you don't know which page is that. So that explains the different mind-brain algorithms needed to crack a competitive exam, maybe JEE, NEET, UPSC, CAT, and you take any example. But any exam is based on psychologically designed patterns, and it's a testing of your mind-brain system and basically the frequency of the mind-brain system. Larger the frequency, larger are the chances, greater are the chances that you'll succeed in those exams. And lower the frequency, thing is you'll stuck in somewhere, you'll be having anxiety, depression, this and that. But ultimately you cannot crack the exam until and unless your mind brain system has got frequencies which can decode the exam pattern and which can crack the exam. So this was from our discussion. The entire thing is about developing the mind brain algorithms which are taking place within ourselves, and to increase their frequencies. That explains that how to crack the exams. That stimulates you, only then you can crack the competitive exam. So apart from studying, you should also work on your own mind brain system. At least give some, let's say, 10 minutes to you and analyze what you are working, what you did today, and is your mind brain system, is your mind brain algorithm sufficient enough to crack the exam. Only just take 10 minutes and give a thought to this process, and you will eventually come to know that it can be well developed, it can be worked on, and with a gradual training program you can develop the efficiency of the mind brain system. You can increase the frequency of the mind brain system and ultimately crack competitive exams and achieve success in competitive exams, and that can add value to your life, and you can achieve omnipresent dimensions of success and pleasure in academic, professional and spiritual dimension of life. If you have any doubt, you can ask in the doubt section. Thank you and have a nice day.